there are millions of dogs and cats throughout the world and, the United States of America that perish due to weather conditions, hunger, and other things like that. Um, I used to watch this YouTube channel called Flatbush. They were a rescue in New York City, and I can tell you, man, there were rescues they had that, there were cats like on the verge of death from freezing. So, when I talk to you ladies today, I'm talking to you from a little bit of emotion. I really believe in this topic, and I just think that we need to educate people on adopting dogs and cats, because it's not about getting people to adopt. It's about educating them into what they're getting into, because a lot of the dogs and cats out there are unfortunately out there because they're being abandoned. So we really need to educate people on the seriousness of knowing what you're getting into. When you go to adopt an animal, you really need to do your homework. And I know from experience, I once adopted a cat because she was the biggest cat. We just had one of our loved ones, my cat Lily. She's a solid white, beautiful cat. She was going through depression because we had tried to get her a friend, and I didn't quite understand how territorial cats can be. And what we thought of was a friend and we were doing her a nice gesture was an insult to her. Well, my daughter and wife were leaving to go get groceries one day. I was out of town in Phoenix doing a job, and I get a phone call, and my wife's crying, my daughter's crying in the background. Well, apparently Lily had been killed by a dog. Apparently my daughter didn't shut the door all the way, and she was able to take her little paw and open it up, and she ran out. This is a cat that 2 months before that would never hardly go outside. So I know in my heart of hearts it was the depression of getting her the friend. And unfortunately, I learned a hard lesson that day. So I don't want to ever see that happen again. But, I went and got the big cat I was telling you about. And I thought I'd get the biggest cat because I didn't want what happened to Lily to happen again. And in my naivety, I thought big cat equals whoop ass on a dog. That is not the case. Miley is very timid. She's almost scared of her own shadow. You can't even pick her up. You even try, she'll freak out. So I learned a valuable lesson that day is, you need to just find a good personality if you're looking for a cat that can defend itself. But that was my lesson. Well, everybody's different. Some people love the dogs that jump in their laps, lick all over them. Some people love that kind of companionship. Some people want the more timid cat like me. I want a cat because not only do they tend to be a little more timid, they take care of themselves. They poop in a litter box. They bathe themselves. They're less maintenance in my opinion. I've had people argue with me, so I'm not here to convince people, go with cats or go with dogs. My job today is to convince you ladies to help me help the community to be more educated with animal rescue and adoption. Because the more people that adopt that aren't educated in it, the more animals we're going to see abandoned on the streets. And it's just not good for anybody. Nobody wants to go on walks in their community with a wild dog running around or a wild cat. Nobody wants, to see a cat or a dog suffering. So let's try to avoid that. I want to highly encourage you ladies to pick up this topic and work with your community in educating people. Talk to the front desk person. Ask them, this is what kind of animal I'm looking for. I want a timid animal. I want a playful animal. I want an animal that's going to defend itself. I want an animal that's going to obey. I want an animal that knows nothing and I need to train it to do everything. And I want an animal that has no health issues. Hey, I don't mind an animal that has health issues. I want to help out. Things like that. We need to educate people. Thank you for your time, ladies. I know you have a lot on your plate and you're selective in what you choose to do in your community each month. And I hope you enjoyed my conversation with you. And I look forward to working with you. Thank you.